Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and we've got a busy day scheduled today. We've got quite a few things to go through. As a minimum, I'm expecting to do 2 chapters of Demon's Plan and this review of Blue Exorcist. I am well aware that the 7 Deadly Sins and Fairy Tale have been released early, but if I can fit them in my schedule, I will do, if not Monday. Now, on pressing things, the hair is gone. I just got sick of it because I had spent so many mornings trying to sort it out. My hair's all over the place. My hair's receding or receding, whichever way you want to state it. And I kept putting off getting a haircut because I work all week, Monday to Friday. Occasionally Saturday do overtime. And then if you don't do the overtime, because I've been doing overtime recently, I'm tired. And Sunday I want to do this kind of thing. I never get around to it. So ultimately, I wanted to do something with my hair. I couldn't be asked getting out and going to a barber's. So I got this quickly removed with my handy Remington trimmer. And hey ho, here we are. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the review of Blue Exorcist Season 2, Episode 3. So, I've been watching the episode for the 3rd time now. Quite interesting episode. Leading up to this episode 1, 2 and 3 were a slow burn. It was building up to find out who the traitor was, and there was a few things that happened beforehand that kind of threw you off curveballs and things like that. I like that about this, and so you didn't know who the traitor was. That's really good. Again, there's 3 or 4 things that you could take from this. So there was the relationship between Ruji Suguru or Bon and his father. There was the Rin situation about him having 6 months to train, otherwise he's really going to be exterminated if he flares up again. The whole situation with the traitor, then the actual aftermath of the traitor situation, and then Rin's situation with his relationships and his thoughts on what was going on. And this leads to a lot of different things. But there's a few things to kind of take into consideration before going into all this episode. Number 1, and the key thing is, the situation with Rin isn't apparent to the people in the Kyoto head office. There have been rumblings about what's going on with Mephisto. There's been rumblings about Rin being the son of Satan, or someone being the son of Satan. All they know about is a blue flame, and that scares the hell out of them. So it's important to bear that in mind. So let's kind of go over sequence by sequence what actually happened. So the first element of it is Suguru dealing with what's happened at the meeting. He's angry that his dad didn't turn up. He's angry what people said about him. He's angry because they're meant to be the heads of the Myodo kind of family, clan, and so on and so forth. He then, kind of on his way back to his room, sees Juzo, and there's a conversation about basically the security is very slim, or the defenses are quite low, where the eye is kept, and that's suspicious. And then he goes there appearing to be very suspicious and going down to see the eye in the keep. Now Suguru follows him, and he essentially finds out by sticking back that Mamushi, who is one of the 3 sisters of snakes, who should really get to know Orochimaru, basically are traitors, or she's a traitor. And what her reasoning is that basically she feels, because she spent time with Mr. Todo, who is the guy who's got the other eye, that basically Ryuji's father, the head of the Myoda, the old man with the funny eyebrows, is basically the traitor working with Mephisto to get all this thing with Rin going on. Now, she's convinced to that point that stealing the eye, putting it in a better place, is the better idea. And she's blinded by that. So it's kind of like she's been in a trance, or she's been lied to that degree where she ultimately believes the wrong thing is the right thing. At some point then, basically Mr. Todo turns up, the ceiling collapses, and they escape. And the eye is released, basically. So the bad people now have the right eye and the left eye of the Impure King Demon that this arc is all about. So that's that out of the way. Now, let's look about everything else. So there's a whole element of Rin's situation. So Rin is basically still trying to control the candles. He eventually gets that control and is reminded of his situation, which is you got 6 months. And I like how this is done because it shows us the sequence from last season. Being that it's so long since we've seen that, it's a handy reminder without having to go back and watch all the episodes. It wasn't so much for me because I had only recently rewatched the whole season, so I was cool with it, but it's always good to get a handy reminder for those that haven't seen it recently. Then the whole earthquake situation happens, which is why they go to find that Mr. Todo's taken the other eye with Mamushi. So that's got happened. But the thing is, the whole time this is going on, the plan with the senior exorcist is actually being carried out by the head of the field office, which is Shima's, the head Shima, the Mamushi sister's father, and Ryuji Suguru's father as well. So he's well aware of what's going on, but he's staying out of the scene to ultimately let things play out so they can figure out what's going on, who's really behind everything, and that kind of thing. To the point where Ryuji Bon basically collars him and says, tell us everything now. And even then, he's a nice guy, and he said, look, it's a secret, I can't tell you even if you are my son. Look, we need to follow her, let me go. And then this anger that's built up in Ryuji causes to him to say something that resonates with Rin. And it's ultimately the same thing, or along the same lines of what he said to his adoptive father, which he now regrets because, you know, his father killed himself for him, the human father who was a paladin, the lead exorcist, the cool dude that he was. So that pisses him off, wants him to apologize, but he flares up. The problem with that, given the perspective of everybody else, they now have confirmation that Rin is the son of Satan, which, like what happened earlier in the season 1, everyone just like, whoa, we need to kill him, that's blasphemy, he needs to be exterminated. And then Shura jumps in and starts doing this mantra on him, and she gets called a hag by Rin, which was a bad move. And then she puts him down, and it's like, what is really going on? It's a secret. You don't need to know. It's just that is like a key thing. It's going to be an element that we can go, oh, so that's what we're going on. Oh, this is what the situation is. And ultimately, they might be in cohorts with Mephisto, but in a good way. We have to wait and find out. Ultimately, that's the only way we can move forward in this story and get reconciliation. So I'm waiting to see what happens with that. I'm guessing that's going to lead on to the next arc, and so much has happened. I cannot wait for next episode. Nice and simple review, kept it relatively short. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. As always, share it with your friends so they can get the video out there. And hopefully you can laugh at my tin head, my egg looking shaped head right now, and continue enjoying the content I put out. See you next time. Peace.